So, working. This meeting tonight is being recorded so that it can be seen again on the Town Council's website. I'd like to thank you all for coming tonight. I'd like to wish you all a happy new year. But before we start this meeting, could we all please stand for a minute silence for the people that we've lost presently and last year? Thank you. Thank you. Before we commence the meeting, if you could switch your phones up or put them on silent, please, so that we're not interrupted. Thank you. Notice of a town council meeting. You are hereby summoned to attend a meeting at the town council to be held in the main hall. Enter Town Council Community Centre, Mullinshaw Road, Hemsworth, commencing at 7 p.m. on Thursday, the 3rd of February 2022, for the purpose of transacting the following business.
Press that one.
I'll go straight up to item number one. Item number one, apologies for absence. To receive apologies for absence and to consider and prove the reasons for the absence.
Good sound though, isn't it?
Item number two, declarations of interest. Council should declare pecuniary and non-pecuniary interest in any item on this agenda. Have we got any? I think there's one at Newston, isn't there?
Oh, yeah, two.
Two at Newston. Thank you.
Area for holiday.
Item number three, public question time, to receive questions from members of the public. So if any member's got a question for myself, the town clerk or any councillors, I'd just like to mention that if you can strictly keep it to business and Emsworth, Kingston, Fitzwilliam, I'd appreciate that. Then the town council business. If you do put a question to any councillors and they feel that they don't want to answer it, they have the right to refuse to answer it. So yeah, I'll start with you.
Obviously, on social media, there's lots of information about LP 763 Club Terrace. I've attended council meetings where it's been discussed about obviously taking it out of Greenbelt, put it into residential, and I've seen a document that's dated the 8th of the 12th, 20, that the town clerk actually filled in, and on that it actually says that you've had discussions with developers. What I would like to know is it one developer, a number of developers, and also has anybody else, any councillors shown an interest in Club Terrace?
Well, I'll answer it best I can, then if Alan wants to come in, come in. Club Terrace is former allotment site, which this council decided to apply to Secretary of State to change it from Greenbelt to Brownbelt. That process went in front of planning inspector on 3rd of December this year, setting just over 2 years to get to that point. When this application went into Secretary of State, there were an interest from a developer, because this particular developer has purchased the land outside of that site, which I think you're probably aware of. And obviously they got an interest in it. They asked the council then if they could do a survey on this site, which is only a survey for knotweed and asbestos. And the council agreed to allow a Montet site to complete this survey because it would detrimental to valuation of the site and what needed remediated. And then an application went in to LDF, same as Ibridon Complex. Vice versa, one wanted to put it back into leisure and rec, tidying up Ibridon Complex. The other one was from Greenbelt to Brownbelt because it's been for about 28, 29 years. And so basically that's where we were. But only one developer showed an interest in it, and that's the developer that's purchased the land adjacent to it. And since then, we've engaged Sanderson Weatherall, valuer surveyors, to value the land and to put it out basically to tender. They will deal with it. And when the tenders come in, the tenders will be open in front of members of council, and obviously it's up to members which tender they're going to take. So that's basically the process that the council's gone through and had to go through, and that's where we are at this stage.
So what I'm asking, what I asked is, has any councillors shown any
No.
interest?
No,
That's fine, just so that that's clear.
yeah, no, there's no council shown an interest in that side. Any further questions from members of the public? Thank you for that. Then I'll,
Could I just ask one, Chair, please?
Yeah.
Could I just ask Alan if we've got any further on this green spaces status or village green status down at the water park?
We put it in trust.
Pardon?
Potentially put it in trust, you mean?
Oh, right, I didn't know.
I think if you mean put it in trust, that would
You
defer.
put it in trust, or
To look to put it in trust.
it's, well, at last meeting I were at, it was like green spaces we were considering, or a village green status. Have you made any
It's
inquiries?
No, it's not village green though. We could put it into trust, but it's been deferred for the time being.
But he did ask
Well,
about a village green.
Apologies, I'll look into that.
Well, you know, concerns were like, it's quite a few years ago, like, there were attempts made to encroach onto that water park land. And it's to stop that, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
You did say, Alan, that you would look into that.
I remember the trust element of it, but I don't remember the village green.
Village Green's a charitable.
Village greens have a special status. I may be wrong, but I don't think the park would qualify, but I'll find out in a report.
I think the concerns that councillors and members of public are that live in our community township is that it stays in perpetuity, you know, it's kept from members of public and people of this township, and that's what we don't want to happen. I think the feeling here is 100% that these councillors and members of public want to keep it as a public body, and all you're wanting to know is to make sure that you know obviously as years go on that it's safeguarded into yeah. So if you can have a look at that, Alan, and you know, we'll probably get it on the agenda for next meeting.
Mr. Kenyon, you know, Benga Boys, is that still going ahead, or are we looking at that as cancelling it, or?
No, as far as we're concerned, it's still going ahead.
You know, a concern of mine is that you've sold 295 tickets. What's stopping people sitting in Bailiff Park and listening to them?
Well, they can, but
But they can, so they don't have to pay 50p pound
no,
to listen to Benga Boys
Well,
and sit in Bailiff Park.
it's £32 for adults and 15 for children or concession. But
Free to
You
sit
can-
in Bailiff Park.
you can say that if you go to Lincoln festivals or Round Day Park, sit on banking and watch it. But people do like to go and be engaged in these festivals.
295 of them like to go sit in.
Well, because of COVID, the council has not had time to promote it properly.
So how much more money are you going to spend on advertisement
There's a
before you
meeting on
reach
28th.
4,000
Well,
tickets
the-
needed?
The issue with this is that it was a corporate decision made by council
Yeah.
to engage this festival. Unfortunately, because of COVID, it had to be cancelled in August 2019. It was then brought back to council, and because we'd signed contracts and everything, it was agreed, the corporate decision again that the council would progress it and carry on. And then because you've signed contracts, you know, you still gonna have to pay some of these artists anyway.
Would it have been a better corporate decision not to have it on a Queen's Jubilee? Would you have sold more tickets if it went on that weekend?
You know, I mean,
No, you know,
this next few weeks will tell because it's
So-
going to be promoted.
another few weeks, we're going to spend another £7,000 on advertising, probably sell another what? In 2 weeks' time, where do you expect to do with ticket sales to make it profitable for us?
Well,
So we're not paying for it.
I think, you know.
No, you think you're going to corporate decision on this?
Yeah, we have.
You'd like to tell us.
What I've already explained to you is we've had
You can't blame
hiccups.
it on
No,
corporate.
we've had hiccups because of COVID and everything's been
No.
shut down.
Can I just say, we've
People,
got a
no,
meeting on
just a minute,
28th about
Maxine.
it.
No, just a minute. I'm answering this gentleman, then I'll come to
Do
you.
not talk to me like that.
Yeah, well, I'm answering
I'm
this
just telling you,
gentleman.
we've got a meeting on 28th.
Well, you put your hand up and then put it
Oh,
forward.
well, I'll put it up.
So basically where we are now is contracts are signed and we have to progress with it.
Right.
And if it were one person's decision or a corporate decision from council, and like I said, you'd still have to pay so much money out anyway.
But at what point are you willing to say it's wrong?
It's back in front of council on 28th and then it'll be reviewed again on 28th of this month.
Right, and at 28, by 28th of February,
Yes,
sorry, you're expecting to have enough ticket sales to see how we move on.
yes.
So if ticket sales don't make above 400 by 28, you're going to cancel.
Well, that's up to members.
Well, members are here.
Yeah, well, that's up to
Ask them.
members. You can't ask them on that. It's not on the agenda, but it's up to members on 28th.
So basically, we're going to get stuck up.
That's your opinion.
We're not, don't worry, we're
Right.
not.
So item number 4, as per minute number 262, 2021-22, to consider which items on the agenda should be have a recorded vote.
Mr. Chairman, I've had a prior notice from councillors Moran and Middleton, and they've requested agenda items 10, 11, 12, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 27, 29, ECD.
All happy with that, yeah? Item number 5, town council meetings to approve the minutes of the council meetings held on 2nd of December 2021. Can I have a mover, please? Committee and subcommittee meetings to adopt the minutes of the committee and respective subcommittee meetings as follows. Leisure and Recreation on 6th of January 2022, Finance 20th of January 22, and Policy and Planning 2022. Have a moment, please. Move them on. Item number 7, accounts for payment to confirm the payment of accounts and approve at the Financial Committee meeting held on 20th of January 2022. We all in favour to approve these, yeah? Item number 8, correspondence. The town clerk to report on correspondence in respect to the following. Alan?
Yeah, first item A, Mr. Chairman, from a parishioner regarding the festival. I'll read it verbatim. The town clerk has already told me there was no public consultation around the proposal of the summer festival. Why was this? The festival being put to council is not what I mean. I'd like to know why members of the public were not asked whether they want the summer festival.
There were consultation. I think you went to 2 or 3 meetings with council and members of the public that attended at these meetings, and the council decided to progress with this festival on a corporate decision, which we're entitled to do. So nothing was done wrong or below belt, so to speak. Next one.
From a parishioner asking that now that the case with Saw Construction has ended, will HTC be issuing a full apology to former Labour councillors who were unfairly accused of gross misconduct, amongst other things.
Well, have we got written proof that somebody's accused other councillors of gross misconduct?
I don't know.
Wait, you said that, Jimmy, didn't you?
No, I mentioned things about the deal that was done that took 6.5 years, public money, and 6.5 years of costs and everything. Just 1 minute, just 1 minute. And it took 6.5 years. If I called anybody or council corrupt, then at the end of the day, it's up to them to take me to task and sue me on that.
We put them to task with forensic report on the audit.
That was only part of the new council taking over from Labour. Let me just reiterate here. This council did a deal. They paid district value of £47,000 to put a deal together. The deal said that this building and Sandygate had to be done to specifications. That was opted into contracts. We had to pay £4,000 for extractor fans in there. It had to be totally rewired. We've had to put an alarm system in here. It's had a new boiler. Now, this is for a building that cost £2 million. Sandygate, it states in flyers here, which you have a copy if you like, that 1.1 million will be spent on superb football facilities. When we finally got the costings out, it was 468,000.
Business, that, isn't it?
No, it's not business.
The
Not,
thing is,
not
it
just a
was
minute.
signed off, it was signed off by the football committee saying it would fit and.
No, you're wrong. It wasn't.
Oh, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
It
Steve
was.
Wells presented, it was signed off by councillors. Steve Wells
No.
presented a damning report, and I'll tell you what damning report said. It said it didn't cost us anything. It was a report that was done when it was built. And Steve Wells said there's 840 square metres of astroturf missing. There should have been 6 metres at either end of astroturf for runoffs and 3 metres on either side. So that was a loss to this community and a substandard astroturf facility. There were also, if you had a report on it, what handed out when we were on council in 2011, am I right? Still? Yeah, Steve Wells's report. Well, if anybody wants a copy of that report, I'll
Who is it? Anyway.
Steve Wells, this council, before we were on, engaged Steve Wells to do a survey, and it was a damning survey on that. It weren't built to specifications. Like I said, there were 840 square metres of astroturf missing. The drainage in the main field weren't adequate, weren't involved. And the junior pitch that were an afterthought that had to be equivalent or better than Section E4 to match what we'd lost at the complex, had no drainage in. There were nets put up, it were marked out, there were no drainage in. Like I said, it was totally substandard. There's no ball recovery gate on AstroTurf, and I can go on and on. There were no clubhouse that were promised, am I right, Eric? Up there, all specifications, we were shortchanged all the way down. But it's a council decision at that time, and the council's made a decision to accept it. This council, with independents, would not have accepted it. But that's the boat we were left in. It's like a directorship. When you take over a company, you've got to accept what's happened prior to before you.
So you're saying that Labour Council signed this building over with all its defaults and
Yes,
everything?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I
I
am,
don't know
yes.
this clown is in back who keeps saying yeah, but I'm talking to you, Jimmy, not the bloke behind.
Yeah, well, there's no need to refer to anybody like that.
Oh,
I mean, I
you
can't hear
speak
him.
quite well for me, couldn't you?
I can't hear him.
Oh, yeah.
So that is a lot of feelings from us. Yes, Maxine.
Can I ask who Steve Wells is? Which company is he from?
Yeah, Steve Wells is a sports specialist company that this council, Labour Council, prior to us being engaged, that when these facilities were done, he came and inspected them. And the Sandygate report that came out was a damning report. Alan will have a copy if you want to have a look at it. If you can't find it, I've got a copy at all. And it was a damning report. Like I said, it cut corners all the way around. We never got what we wanted. And that what main complaint of football players. That what they said is if it had left us up the equivalent or better, which was equivalent to Sports England, exceptionally for, there wouldn't have been all arguments. And then the other thing going into it, with the contracts, the contract side of things, why did it take 6.5 years not to conclude this deal? Me and Maxine went in, yeah, we sat there for 7.5 hours in Leeds, But at the end of the day, we thrashed out a deal, we got it done. That delay cost Saul over 150,000 in legal costs. It cost them the town council a considerable amount in legal costs. But fortunately, we got a deal done. I think there's some of these notes been passed around. We went to town council in 2015, waived interest on any cost. But we sat there at that meeting and we finished up getting 182,000 as a settlement, interest or whatever you like, to help towards cost of its costers. And we also kept the £50,000 section 106 that he gave. So in total, that meeting that we did mediation, we finished up with £232,000.
And how much would it cost in legal?
Which we want to go. Well, we've had them paid because we've got this extra money from developer.
But obviously that legal things have come out of the 250,000. Or you say developer.
No, it was something that we had to do. This deal had to be completed one way or the other. We gave Saul in 6 months at the last election, 2019, time to complete. If he'd have complete and sat down like he did in Leeds and with the press cards on tables, we'd have all saved money, John. But he didn't. He didn't complete. He then asked for another time to complete, which he failed to do. And then 2.5 years on, he then suddenly took us to court, if you like. So we were defendants in a case that we had to defend to complete. So we've got to ask yourself, why didn't you do this 6 years ago? Or why didn't you do this when we asked him to complete? It cost us all money. But at the end of the day, we finished up with £182,000 plus the £50,000 section 106 money. And we can move forward now. We can look to investing on shortfalls on Sandygate.
You might have to save some of
I mean,
that.
what you've got, another thing what you've got to think about is there were floodlights down at the old complex. If it were equivalent or better, there's no floodlights at Sandygate, only on AstroTurf. At AstroTurf, to be honest with you, it's not fit for purpose. There's no runoffs on it. You know, you can't use it for games. A lot of teams that used to rent that don't rent it now because there's better facilities at High School and at Featherstone and at Shafton.
Facilities.
Better facilities that can.
Can I just say, the
All
other thing,
changes
this
every year,
building,
doesn't it?
this building costs £2.25 million. Does anybody really think that it costs that to produce this building? The other thing, there was no quotations, no tenders, no nothing. It was all done as an exercise to write off as much money, the 4.5 million down there, and we all know that.
That's your opinion, yes.
There's a lot of information in the chair at the moment. I'm just wondering how this relates to the question that was asked.
Well, what question that this gentleman asked and
I
led
think the
into
question, the gentleman referred to the question that was on the email.
Wenger boys. They brought Wenger boys in.
It was about the corrupt. It was a separate question. It was about the corrupt.
Yeah, whatever were mentioned regarding corruption, what I've just explained to you.
So are you justifying the comments that were made, or are you saying that you didn't say that? That's what we're trying to get our heads around.
No, what I'm saying is that it might have been spoken, but what I'm saying is you like everybody, your opinion. You make your own opinion of what I've said. If you think that we've got as money's worth with this building and it what a specification and Sandygate what a specification, well, what do you think? The thing is with this, if the developer had a swimming pool built and it was 10 metres shorter than what it should be, do you think he'd have carried on and paid it?
Oh.
What the Labour Council did, they accepted it and they shouldn't have done.
Why not? It was
So
spot
what's
on.
the answer?
You are.
What's
Look
the
at Steve
answer?
Wells's report. It weren't spot on. No, it weren't. It weren't spot on.
I still don't think we've got an answer to the question that was asked.
I believe.
Just gone round houses on them.
Condemned that one, Sandygate.
Sport England would not. Sport England condemned it. I've got paperwork here
Signed
if
it
you
off,
want it.
Sport England.
Yeah.
I saw that paperwork.
No, what
Yeah.
Sport England said,
Sport England signed it off. said
yeah,
it
what
was fit
Sport
for
England
purpose.
said, because the council accepted it, that, you know, they couldn't really go any further, but what they did say was that these facilities that they've got, they would not put any foot funding into it, am I right, Eric? Because they didn't meet exception E4, equivalent or better. The site, for a start, there's a letter there from council and from developer that states halfway through development up at Sandygate, due to site restraints, he's had to reconfigure it. Then it never went in accordance with plans that were passed at Wakefield.
Just another one, give me a quick one, Rich. Have you got any other allotments you're going to sell on? You know what I mean?
We've not sold any allotments,
Not
so,
yet.
John.
Not yet, but
No,
is Grove Lane going to be the next one?
no,
It
the allotments,
could be.
we've invested heavily on other allotments, moving rubbish and asbestos and everything, the last 3 years.
So in a comment you made today to somebody who I'm not going to mention, you said you wouldn't be surprised if Grove Lane allotments weren't going to be next development site and the roads down on that path. Am I correct?
No,
So, right, that's fine, that's fine.
no, I've never quoted that.
I know
At
that.
the end of the day, I've got relatives that's got allotments on Grove Lane.
So they're going to be.
And Springfield.
No,
And
I.
we've always stood up for them when me and Stan stood up when they wanted cockerels
Yeah,
removing. Am I right, Stan? And everybody knows that. The reason why the Fitzwilliam site was put forward.
Yeah.
And it's been done properly, not like Kirby Road Complex were done, put to one person, all done under does. It took 3 years to get a copy of them contracts, and then we had to go to court to get them. And the judge and the ICO all stated that a public document that should be in public domain.
Are there closed tenders for Newstead allotments and, you know, when the.
Once they come in, there'll probably be closed tenders for members to open and decide who they want to.
Not to public, then we can't say that when tenders. Well,
Confidential.
The tenders.
confidential till they happened, didn't it?
Yeah, but once they're open and we decide, or members decide who they're going to pick, then obviously it'll go out into public
Well,
domain.
surely it should go to highest bidder.
Well, that's up to members. Sometimes it don't work that way. Yes, Maxine.
Could I ask if we could consider it going into something for Fitzwilliam, like a sports centre or something,
And value.
instead of building houses on it? People don't want houses on it.
I mean, to do anything really, you've got to, it's got to be taken out of green belt, put back into brown belt, so.
You not with sports, we're not with sports, with like football fields and stuff, you don't, you leave it as green, you
No,
put a recreation,
Well, like I said, it's
like
gone
it
through,
already is.
it's gone through process.
It's
now,
already
so
is on that,
next-
isn't it?
You know, your next stage will be either either.
But you've never considered that, even though you have been asked before.
Well, we're asked by one particular group or person that they'd like to use it or lease it.
They offered to clear it up. Like
It was a
football field
corporate
next to
decision
for
that,
kids,
it was a corporate decision
and they
that,
got refused.
it was a corporate decision that council decided to do. the
That was a
process that
corporate
they've done.
decision.
It was.
But don't you think Fitzwilliam deserves something?
Is this the same one what come up last meeting of the rubber matting?
No, that's
No.
no stairs.
That's Newstead.
This is
Fitzwilliam,
club
like.
tennis, this is it city.
Right, yeah.
This is it city, but it's it was brought up and it's,
Don't come in.
So if I can move progress then,
this is it. It's-
correspondence again. Email from Commissioner regarding soil construction. We're on item C, item 8C, Alan.
Yeah, it's a letter from the Commissioner regarding Wakefield Council's local plan. I've spoken to the lady concerned and there are about 18 questions. So I will write to her next week on behalf of the council, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And item D, Alan.
Yeah, it's from a parishioner thanking the council to make sure overhanging bushes and rubbish was removed from land adjoining my property.
Item number 9, code of conduct training, the town clerk report according.
This has been arranged, Mr. Chairman, for all members on the 5th of April in the evening.
Item number 10, decision making training, to consider decision making training for councillors. Alan.
Councillor Moran, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, so this is something that I noticed before I came on the council very recently. And I think this has been echoed today as well, that there's some questions being asked around this decision making that the council make and how they come to decisions that they do make. Al and I have both looked into official training, and it's very corporate. It wouldn't be the right level for the town council. I've taken some advice from a colleague of mine who does decision-making training in the workplace. And one of the things that I'd like to suggest is that we almost have a collaborative learning session. So it's not official training where we all sit in a room and someone tells us what to do, but come together as a council and think about the factors that we need to take into consideration when we're making a decision. Whether that be, financial, how it impacts the community, whether it's environmental, and come up with almost a crib sheet that says, these are the things we're going to think about every time, because I do think that decisions are made often without taking full consideration of the entire decision.
Well, not just this council, but previous councils.
Sorry, it's this council.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
Previous has gone.
not just this council, but previous councils. If it's been on a decision-making thing, then obviously if it's planning or whatever, they've got the experts in to do it, planning solicitor or surveyors. But, if you think that we can probably make a decision without using them, then
It's not, no, I'm not suggesting that at all. What I'm suggesting is, we make decisions in this room every month or whatever that impact these people that are, in our community. And I don't think that we ask the right questions. I don't think that the right things are taken into consideration. And I think if you've got wealth of, experience around this table, if we all got together and thought about how we approach those decisions, and just have a list in front of us when we get the meeting notes and go, you know what, I'm going to think about this in a different way because we've learned from each other.
Transparency and working all that.
yeah, I've not got a problem with that. Are we all in favour of that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's been asked before, so let's hope it
Good on you, love.
get listened to, yeah, brilliant.
Item 11, Policy and Planning Subcommittee to consider expanding in the Policy and Planning Subcommittee and to disperse with the services of its advisors. Well, that subcommittee were always set up to deal with the completion and sale of Kirby Road Complex. So now that it's been completed, contracts have been signed and everything on 22nd of December, there's no need for that. So I think everybody's agreed that it's.
Does that mean Mr. Pringle won't be on council payroll now to do all this all plan?
Sorry?
Won't Mr. Pringle on as a,
Oh, never on the payroll,
oh, so
Mr.
you
Cook,
did it
never had a
right,
penny. So don't make accusations, you can't back up.
that's fine, then I will find that out.
No,
So
there's nothing to find out, I've never had a penny.
So you just a free consultation.
can
Okay.
can we come to order?
No
please?
fee, no nothing.
I'll open up to order. Yeah,
So on item number 11, then that committee basically disbanded anyway on 22nd of December, and once it was completed, we all had meetings together, I think on 2 occasions, and took the advice, so that's gone. Item number 12, public consultation, significant expenditure to consider a policy of conducting a public consultation prior to committing significant expenditure.
I believe that if we're going to spend so much money, we need to put it out to people to see what they think. I don't think we should keep spending money like we are doing.
It's just wasting it.
what's the
Yeah, we
threshold?
need to have proper meetings like Donna says, and we need to then put it out to the public. They need to have a say in what we do, not.
But that's what you're elected for, to make decisions.
No, we're
But
elected
we're
to
elected
listen to them.
We're elected to do what the people
Yeah.
ask us to do.
So
So
what's your ceiling then? If we spend £5,000, we've got to go out, or 10,000 go out,
I think it should be 5,000.
5,000.
I think we should start being open and transparent to everybody.
Yeah, I think it should be open and transparent, but it's open and transparent tonight. All these items are on the agenda. We're coming up to items about procuring a lift.
We're on the
And
balance.
eating system.
Yeah,
If you want to put them out to public consultation, you'll be 6 months maybe before you get it done.
well,
You've got to put flyers around
so
everybody's
it's not going
letterbox.
to do it.
No, all I'm saying, I'm just explaining
Every time.
it's down to members then, Maxine.
Alright,
You put flyers through everybody's letterbox, 13,000 people, right? That if you're gonna consult everybody, that's got to be done.
No.
Then you've got to wait for these to come back in. You're never gonna get any business done. I'll agree with you on a certain threshold, maybe 80 or 90,000.
No,
But for five or 4,000, you're not gonna get your business done and move progress, which these members that are all here have been elected to represent people to do that.
so what would be a sensible amount then? If 5,000 is too low, what, is it 20 grand?
No, I
I
think,
mean, Venga Boys was 80,000 pounds, so setting it at
Well,
90. is
So we go
isn't
for
it?
90 then, so
no,
that makes sense.
just a minute, that's a figure.
don't you
That-
feel
That's
it's
a
what I'm
figure
saying?
that we're over the top,
Yeah.
just in case there were any
So
problems.
what?
So what I'm
is the
saying is
sensible-
that figure will probably come down about 15, 20,000 mid-time it's leveled
Which time
out.
we've
Sorry,
cancelled.
I'm giving an example. Let's forget about the Venga Boys. What would be a sensible number? Is it 10 grand? Is it 20 grand?
Well,
What happens in other councils, Alan?
Obviously, it's up to members, but members may think it's a bit high, but it could tally with the figure when it has to go out to tender, which is £25,000. So any expenditure 25,000 or above would have to go out to tender anyway. So it would be sensible for it to be that, and members might wish it to be lower.
which is what we've already got in place.
No, the tender.
No, the tender bit's in place, not the consultation.
Yeah, but I'm saying,
And again, according to Alan's notes as well, he also sort of mentioned that this is just a vote to say, do we agree with it? And then we'd have to agree maybe at a different meeting, the amount and what we would consider public consultation. Public consultation could be, it's in the meeting minutes and we put it in X amount number of shop windows and all the libraries, that would be classed as public consultation.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
no, not consultation, like people come back and
So
say,
could you give us-
we think this, we think that. Blah, blah, have their ideas come forward to you. It's almost what happens with the planning policy, isn't it, in the council.
Chair.
Maybe some people don't think.
Yes, Jean.
So if we have a disaster, God forbid we never do, if something happens in this council to the building, whatever, we have them, because it's going to be over 20,000, 25,000, we have then got to wait while we consult the public. No, this is what it sounds
You have
like.
clauses in it.
Yeah,
You've got to
Yeah.
consult the bit.
For emergencies, you don't
Well, we
need
didn't
it.
do it for a
Just a minute.
just 1 minute, John.
I never spoke while
You've got a
anybody else was
question
speaking.
time. Can you let, this is debate for members now, if you'll just give on, please. Jean.
So then we have to put it to consultation, we have to wait then that to come back, then we have to wait while we've got the relevant committee, which is the town council, where the most decision making is made. And we could have something that needs to be done. We already put it, when we put the tenders out for 25,000, we've already got a limit now. And I do think that, you know, if we're spending a lot of money now, because of the public and how the public are feeling, yeah, we should consult them. But we don't need to consult them on that amount, on the 25, over 25,000 was to tenders, then it's to council, comes to council, we make that decision. I don't think that should go to public.
I think for essential maintenance, you can put a clause in there, you know, if the roof collapsed, nobody's going to expect you to wait to go for a vote. But, and I don't think Maxine was suggesting that at all. I think what Maxine was suggesting was things like concerts, spend down at the water park, you know, if you want to, I don't know, buy a load of new tables and chairs and stuff, it's that sort of spend we're talking about, not essential maintenance.
I'm sorry, but Maxine said £5,000, which in, you know, it's not,
Yeah, but that's.
it's
It's
not
a
gonna
starting
work.
point for the discussion though, isn't
It's
it?
not gonna
We've
work.
had a recommendation from Alan, and as it says in the notes, we don't have to agree what that is now. It's, do we think that some level should be set to go out to the public and do public consultation? That's what we're voting on. We're not voting on how much it is at this point.
Wow.
I'm gonna say we need to sort it now. If you don't,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's
Well,
right.
having another meeting, so we'll figure.
I'm just saying what it says in there.
Yeah, no, I'm asking a question.
Well, I don't answer. Sorry, it's wrong.
So the proposal is that if we spend up to or over £5,000, what Maxine's put on, it goes out to consultation. My view is we put a figure on it tonight, And then once we get to that figure, depending what it is, we go to consultation. If it's, maintenance or urgent
I'll say
repairs,
10,000.
if it's maintenance or urgent repairs, then obviously we've got to make a decision itself. I mean, that's what you voted in for. We've got to get that done. But because we've got £25,000 that we have to get tenders in, let's leave it at 25,000. Are we all in favour of that? 25,000, yeah, let's see. Yeah, just 1 minute.
I think public, I'm gonna turn around, a right load
You will.
of dummies here, they can't make a decision now.
Well,
It's getting a bit-
We have voted it, haven't we? So we vote and we looked out who's voted for it and against it. And then
Against
and
it,
then
obviously,
the public can make the decisions on
So-
who they think's right.
Yeah,
so,
Yeah, we've been putting it to make decisions.
Yeah. well, it is, yeah. So
We'll vote on it.
let's, all right, let's have a look and vote on it then. So the proposal was that if we spend over £5,000 or over, it has to go to public consultation. Who's in favour of that?
except 25.
Well, there's nobody in favour of that. So who's in favour that the council make the corporate decisions like they have done for the last 60, 70 years and leave it as it is with
Sorry, can I
25,000
make an
tenders?
amendment then? Can I make an amendment to Maxine's suggestion and we say it at £25,000 as suggested by Alan?
That's already in place.
Well, that's already in
No,
place
it's
for
not.
tenders.
No, it isn't.
Right, fair enough then. So,
Just to
So-
clarify, the tenders policies in place,
yes.
the consultation isn't in
Right,
place.
so if we're going to spend up to and over 25,000, your proposal is that it goes out for consultation, right? All in favour of that? 7.
I think then,
Who's against that? We believe that councillors should make these decisions to move forward.
That's 6.
So the
It's carried.
consultation is carried, yeah.
there's
Up
some
to
more age, I think.
25,000.
Can I just say something, obviously on that, the dumper and the excavator and everything was all less than 25. I hope you're all aware of that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we
because
are.
obviously that's what you've all had problems that amount of money was spent on second-hand goods. So what you've just voted for won't have made any difference.
But we could still vote on it though as a council.
We're still here to vote on it.
But what I'm saying is, of the public that actually put you in there, we were actually against you purchasing those.
Yeah, but what you've got to be mindful of, we needed to clear allotments and for all to work done with cat. For all to work done with cat dumper. So at that particular time, members did feel that we needed, to get these done. Otherwise, we'd have had to hire machinery in to do it. The amount of rubble and rubbish that we moved up at all allotments were phenomenal over the period. We paid for loads of skips, and we even engaged Wakefield Council on 2 solid, 3 solid weeks. I have to move things that have been taken up by allotment holders from home and then given the allotments up. But we did clear what we could, and we put, I think, 80, 90 allotments back into public use. So, machinery at that time were a viable thing. But what you've got to think about is, previous councils, when previous councils made a decision to re-roof Lakeside Cafe, that was 150,000. It never went out to public consultation because it needed doing, and we accepted that. Fitzwilliam Centre, 260,000 was spent on Fitzwilliam Centre. That didn't go out to consultation because it needed more urgent work to be done. So
We did put it out.
it went out to tender then, but it didn't go out to consultation for work to be done to spend that amount of money. For Fitzwilliam Centre, which would be in excess of 200,000. So anyway, look, we've got to a point, we've got a ceiling on it now, 25,000, we'll do consultation.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Item number 13, disclosure and barring services checks. To consider conducting disclosure and barring services checks on staff and councillors, which is DBS checks.
It's not just, I believe that those coming in contact with children should be. That's my opinion. Those
Well-
coming in contact with children should be, DBS check.
My opinion is that
So
you need a DBS check if you come into contact one-on-one with children. If there's other people there or parents there and you're in a room or wherever, then you don't need a DBS check.
That's what
That's
they
not
told
right,
you,
right.
because all cleaners up at school need a check, and they don't come in contact with them.
Alan, can you reiterate that?
They could potentially come into contact with children, or couldn't they? If
And potentially are couldn't all that.
well, no, not really, because the situation the staff here would be, our counsellors, you would always be somewhere, someone would with them. Either if it's a teacher visiting or their own parent, that kind of thing. So it's not mandatory. It's good practice to have them, though. I'm DBS checked, but it's not mandatory because I'm not a teacher, not a nurse. But it's good practice.
Just to throw something else into the mix on that, I know Max is focusing on children, but DBS checks are also required for people in contact with vulnerable adults, and as counsellors, every single one of you technically could sit with someone with mental health problems, someone with autism, dementia, vulnerable adults of all sorts. In your role as counsellor, you could be sitting in their living room talking to a problem they've got. And to me, a DBS check on every counsellor says that we're electing trustworthy people to sit in our homes and talk to us
Yeah,
about our
she's
problems.
right. It should.
It's not just about the kids, it's about disabled people, vulnerable adults.
Yeah, well, where do you go with staff? You know, where do we go with staff then? Because staff, I don't think, don't have staff. And a lot of staff would probably, you know, not want a DBS check. They're working down at Lakeside with his children in play area in different things.
Oh, yeah, you
Once
should
again,
make sure they have it.
they're not-
Well, they don't want it, do they?
They don't have to have it.
They've got to have it.
They don't have to have it. They don't
Yeah,
have to have
they're
it.
working with children.
They're not working with children,
Yeah,
there's
it-
children in a play area, but they're working in cafe.
It wasn't the people down at the cafe, it was the people like Santa and stuff like that, that I was feeling that we should have a DBS check.
But
All
what it is,
counsellors and then anyone who's in contact with children.
Children,
yes,
yes,
that's anyone that's in contact with children. If they're down at the,
Or anybody who's employed by a town council. Well, no.
You can't do that, you can't do it employees, you've got to ask them, it's up to
other
them. then.
companies do
Well,
it.
there's
other
something
companies
like-
do it, yeah.
It's written into the contract, but they must have it there.
Just a minute, Alan, can you come in?
It's not written to the contract, no. You have to have one if you come into contact with a child and you're the only person, like a teacher would, that kind of thing. But in our soft play area, for example, yes, we have cafe staff there, but the kids wouldn't be there on their own, would they? They wouldn't be in the charge of that member of staff. They would be in the charge of the mother, father, guide, sort of thing. So
No,
it's good practice. My advice would be to offer it to councillors and staff, but you couldn't force them.
So.
I'll happily have a good again.
What we're looking at here, cost wise?
I don't know. It used to be about £50 a throw.
There's different levels as well, aren't there? There's levels.
3 levels, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it can go up to 110, can't it? Or whatever, like, so, I mean,
The basic one from memory is about 50 quid, but the enhanced ones cost
yeah,
3 times.
I take what Ellen said, and different things, but I think if people are dealing one-on-one with children or they are visiting, you know, somebody who's vulnerable with mental health, then it's up to councillors for me to get the DBS check and pay for it yourself.
Pay for yourself.
If you're gonna see somebody that's mentally, you know, vulnerable or if you've seen children one-on-one, and you know that that's gonna happen, then, you know, you need to be DBS checked, then I think it's up to everybody to put that in the pocket, pay for it themselves.
Chairman, can I come on that one with DVS?
Yeah.
I went to £10 for 20 odd years. Right, we had to be DVS checked. We had to pay for it. So. What would it, you know?
That's funny because
Yes,
I
but you
am
were getting paid
NHS.
for a role, these
I didn't- they
councillors
didn't
are
even come in.
volunteers, they're not actually paid to do what they do.
No, I was getting paid, but I had to pay for my own check.
And you couldn't do the
NHS.
role without it. This
So
is an
if
optional
we can
thing
move progress
to be
then,
offered to
if we
them.
can move progress, my proposal is that if you are coming in contact with children one-on-one or dealing with vulnerable adults, like it's been suggested, that we can, you know, if we need a DBS check, then we pay for it ourselves.
It's not mandatory,
It
it's
shouldn't be
yourself.
No, I disagree. I disagree with that. I've got to have a DBS check,
Go on, Jim.
as other councillors would, I think. But I'm not paying for it. Why should I pay for it?
That's it, look.
I mean, all I'm
And-
thinking
and
is
minute that-
preset payers, you know.
Well, yeah,
You're
well,
right.
it's come on, Maxine's proposed it, that councillors should have DBS checks. Even we'll do Alan another one as well, to preset payers, and we'll have them done.
Consultation.
Yeah, that's it. That's a good idea, that.
That's what she's just suggested, so that's what we'll do.
Everyone, yeah.
So,
And if councillors don't want to have it done, it's
Well,
they're
no.
entitled. But I'll have one done. Gordon will. Alan's already said he will have one done again. I'm sure other councils will.
For that, Jean.
We won't
want
put
to
that 25 grand, mate.
Consultation.
Well, yeah, we're gonna put it out for consultation, yeah. No, I'm sorry, I'll agree to it 100%, but I'm not paying for it, Mr. Chairman.
And I think you shouldn't have to do neither. I think if councils are going for it, there should be.
It's been put on the agenda by a council, so if that's the case, let's get them done.
so just a minute. We need to get a costing for this, I think. So if we can defer this then to next meeting.
Anybody idea how much?
There's different levels.
It's 750 for councillors.
No, I know it's more than £50 now.
Oh, is it? Oh, well.
There's different
I know
levels.
£50
You can
now.
go £10.
I know Alan said £50, I think it's more, Alan. Yeah.
It's not.
It's relatively inexpensive.
And that was.
So to move progress,
Can I just say 28 quid for the basic DBS, fully enhanced it's 44 quid.
So what we're gonna do then, so we've got to agree tonight, then if we have that, if it's gonna be just the regular or the enhanced one.
Basics.
Yeah. I said we have the enhanced one and then they're 100% sure that we're okay.
How much did you say it was at?
Mr. Chair, I'd recommend starting the basic because enhanced will cost quite a bit more, and from memory, they may not actually allow it, they may turn it down, they may say you don't need it at that level.
Yeah.
And they might not.
so what we're looking at then, John,
Going to each, and it says 23 quid
23
each.
Yeah. We ain't got a problem, has anybody else?
No.
I think the thing is here,
I think chair at council should pay for us all.
let's be DBS check then. But if councillors that are here don't want to be DBS check, I think that they have the right to.
You've got more money than me.
I'll have no
I think everybody should have one, not just one.
Yeah.
Well, staff can just have it done, Eric. Like they can refuse, it's not in the contract.
So all we're voting on.
Yeah, we've got to be spending over £1,000.
Well, I mean, Sean just said it's £23 for a standard DBS check, so I don't think that's out of way really.
That's 400 quid just for us.
I'm not
Plenty
paying
of staff.
Well, if you make it £1,000, just reckon it's £1,000, that's not much, is it, for us all, do it?
you know, £400.
That's just for us.
That's brilliant.
But I mean, it is a good thing, it safeguards it. I mean, obviously, like Jean said.
It's not like safeguard this moment, it's safeguard no.
So, I mean,
John, not being funny, I don't
£23.
need to safeguard this, and I know I'm okay,
But
but,
you know what I'm saying?
you know,
Yeah.
I'd gladly have it done if that's what
Yeah.
councillors want.
So at £23, are we all in favour to have it done? But the councillors that don't want it doing, they don't have to, yeah?
Mr. Chair, is that councillors and town clerk, not for each staff?
No, not staff.
Not staff, no, not staff, no.
I
It's
don't
got in the
think Alan has to
contract.
have another one, though. I don't think
If
he
it's
should.
covered, you're covered.
Yeah. They wouldn't do it.
And you've already got yours, haven't you, Alan?
I've got about a dozen. Mr. Chairman.
I have, no, I've got,
I've
Mine
got
don't.
one, but it's from 2011. I don't think it'll be out now, but what's
It's
the limit? I
specific to
don't
where
know.
you're representing as well, so like say you got one from a school, it wouldn't count here, it's all, it's works like that.
well, I've had two. I,
So if we can move progress then,
what
please.
was that? There's one, I've had two.
Item number 14, council projects, to review outstanding council projects.
So so if you remember back to a meeting, last October, I think it was, council meeting, and I brought up about the state of the walk park, the road from, so the Boys Road, which I believe we've been told we've got a filling for farm fishing anyway. We're told about the, Sandy Gate, about the Cemetery Road car park, and I specifically asked you, and you says it would be done, and it's still nothing done.
It has been done.
10.
Cemetery Road, all that soil's been moved to one side and a lot has been taken down to the park change.
Finished off, give me.
Yeah, they've started putting fencing up to protect vehicles that park there.
I've seen the fencing, it looks great, except for there's this much grass all jagged. It's not, the jobs are not getting finished off correctly. And can I just put for record, I am not getting on about the council
Yeah.
staff here at all. So that
Well-
ground staff, I'm not on about the ground staff. There's still piles of muck up at Sandy Gate, masses. You all said it'd be done. We had all this time where the power wasn't running because they were doing the storage. I saw 3 lads, not Saturday before, shoveling muck from the Venga Boys Road into Gator. So why aren't we using this bigger that we've got?
Well.
Why we're not using it?
Can you
Why?
answer that?
You said these projects would be finished
No,
off.
what I said from that
No, you said
meeting,
this, in that meeting, you said these projects
what I
would be
said,
finished
it
off.
were work in progress.
Listen to him, listen
No,
to what
not
he's
listen to
saying.
me. I
No, let me
said,
finish.
no, just a minute, it were work in progress, that's what I said, and obviously Alan will deal with it, he'll instruct staff to try and get these jobs done. There's been loads of staff
Just have a listen to
I
him.
agree, Colin, I accept Colin.
on COVID
I
and on
accept
holiday. We've had staff phone up this week, 3 main drivers that's had emergency holidays, am I right, Alan? So obviously,
Emergency
No.
holidays.
job stops,
What's this
when
week?
staff in.
About 3 months.
They've also had,
This
they've
week,
also had
also.
time off. They've also had time off. You've got your basic maintenance that they do day to day.
Yeah, I see it.
And then these other jobs are extra and above. Alan put staff on putting fence up, obviously to protect cars, which part it's been done. But at the end of the day now, all you've got, all the main thing is to put it to Alan to try and push to get finished what needs
Still
doing.
shingle, the kids, when the.
Yes, Peter.
Shingle was.
Has everybody done?
Yes,
Yeah, go on, mate.
I doubt it, Bob.
I asked about the bottom lake. I've left it. I'm gonna fetch it again after May, hopefully. We might get something done. And these paths, the paths are atrocious. We've been on 3 years now, nearly, and there's nothing being done because it's been wasting time on other things.
Well, with
So I'll
Lake,
fetch it up again after May.
no, with Lakesby, we've tried to secure 80,000 from Wakefield from funding to
Oh.
dredge that lake and put it right. So we're just waiting for green light for that. And regarding paths, obviously that's first time. I know we're.
Sorry, it's not the first time I brought up months ago about the state of the paths.
Yeah, I
With
mean,
a
we
load
did-
of shingle up at Sandy Gate, that's been there for months, if not, well, as long as I've been on this council. Why ain't that on the paths? Why?
they have been.
And again, I'm not having a go at the staff, the ground staff, so
No,
if I get accused of other members of staff, I'm not.
Are you on about all the way around Lake, Main Lake?
That's
Well,
nothing.
it's all been done with road planings. And
Yeah,
road-
about
last
4
time I-
years
ago.
Not
It's
recently.
knackered.
No, it was done.
I walk
It
that
was
path
done about
regularly.
2.5 years ago.
It's, if you go up the far end near the old people's home.
Yeah.
All the work that was done on that path to make it accessible for people in wheelchairs and people in prams and stuff, it's completely gone. It's ruined.
Well, that's
needs
first time,
redoing
that's first time known
properly.
about it.
It's not because I mentioned before, and it was right at the time, the accidental rain, I sort of says, I get why it's happened, you can't you know, the rain covers, it's still there.
Yeah,
It was
this
the
is our
18th
months and
it was
months.
the 18th
So
of
just a minute
October
then.
meeting
So,
we
Alan,
brought it up.
Can you get some tenders to tarmac or concrete? Or
We're asking for time.
For 6 first, I'll speak to
Why
us.
would we tarmac
For
it?
6 first, I'll
You know
speak to us.
what?
We're asking
For
to
6 first, I'm
maintain.
going to park in the ones meet. I'll speak to staff.
Yeah.
It just wants to be maintained, that's what he's asking, not.
We're asking to tarmac it.
As far as I was concerned, there were road planings put down 2 years ago, all the way around that.
Well, I've not been on council for 2 years. so
And
I'm-
some people did complain about road planings because they couldn't push wheelchairs through. But at that particular time, we didn't have funding to take it any further from tarmac.
They didn't need it if it was done.
Yes, Pete, we've had what we call it, a quote for this before, Chair, 40,000 plus.
Yeah.
Tarmac that time.
No,
Yeah.
that's what it's asking, we're asking for it to be maintained.
No, I'm just giving you.
Tarmacing won't fit in with
Bit of
environment, an area.
It won't fit in here, you don't want tarmac.
Yes, Jean.
Chair, I know you probably did say we'll get that,
This and the thing.
you know, that thing done, so I remember you mentioning it. But instead of, and I'm not being facetious or anything like that against anybody about it, but instead of attacking chairman on it, we've got the line manager, we've got the manager, who's on the top of the scale, that you can come to and say, Alan, this, that, get it, it needs to be, and he can go down the line, am I correct? It's not him.
I think it's Jimmy's job to get the job done.
When you mentioned it to me, I passed it on and I wanted it progressing.
Can I respond to that, Jane? And you are totally right. But we all know Jimmy's always down there. Jimmy's telling staff what to do. Jimmy was driving trucks and diggers and this and that.
Well, I don't know about
No,
that.
tracks.
She told me out of order. I've never driven that tractor or digger or dumper. I've never been on them.
When you driving tractor up on Cemetery Road, rolling field the other day?
Not tractor, no.
I think you were.
No, I weren't. The tractor's not been up on Cemetery Road because it's too wet. So you must have been seeing things.
It's not wet
So
on Cemetery Road.
I'll talk about something about driving tractors, but as we all know,
Roller on.
Jimmy's up there doing stuff, and that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw it out through Alan.
I was told you were up there.
See,
I went up there on a tractor now. I went up there because lads phoned me up for some advice. That's what I went up for, but I weren't on a tractor.
You shouldn't be interfering with council business. That's part of the
If a
thing.
member of staff phones any councillor up for a
And you
bit of
told us we
advice,
couldn't,
what's wrong with that?
you
when I
told
phoned
us
Alan
we
up-
could not.
When I phoned
give
Alan
advice
up and I said to
council
Alan,
staff.
they've asked for advice about these measurements and marking out of pitch because they'd started marking pitch out in meters and it wanted marking out in yards. So I went up and I explained it to them.
so can I just clarify, you just said, so if council staff ask us for advice, we can now give advice.
No, I
Yeah,
went,
it's just
I
said
rang
that.
Alan up to ask that they wanted that advice. And Alan said, that's not a problem, Jim. That's all marking pitch out wrong. And if that pitch is marked out wrong or not marked out, then teams that play on it get £100 fine each time. So I'll move on then to number 15, public participation committee meetings to consider the standard inclusion of public question time for committee meetings. Well, I've put this on for leisure and rec, policy and other things. Under the old regime, there were no public question time. You had to write in, and if it didn't fit, you didn't get your question answered. So this council did bring back public question time, and we do have audience participation. So like you put your hand up, we've involved you, we've invited you. I think it's a good thing what we decided. And so I just want to make it legit now that on finance meetings or policy meetings, committee meetings, that members of the public are in, providing it's on that specific item that's on the agenda. Are we all in favour of letting people, if they've got a problem?
We've always done that anyway.
Yeah, I know that, but
If it's
not-
relevant to the agenda and
Yes.
that, because we like to hear
Yeah.
it and an idea, we've
Yeah.
always, I have.
Yeah.
But if it's something that's nothing to do with the agenda, and it's just to, just to stir a bit of trouble.
It has to be specific to
Yeah,
agenda.
we've
but
always done that, so I'll agree to
It's
that.
just putting it in stone now, Alan. Yeah, so are we all in favour of that?
Can I just say thank you?
Right, love, yeah, it's needed doing, didn't it?
So number 16, Newstead Strip Car Park. Privacy minute 348, 2021-22, to consider request to provide rubber matting so that residents can park the cars on a strip of land during inclement weather, and or to consider constructing a permanent car park on a parted strip for residents to park. Well, over years, you know, from 2011 and the last 2 or 3 years, members of the public that live on Newstead Terrace have written and asked for requests to put flags down and outstanding to park the cars on, and we've given them written response, giving them permission that they can put these flags down, but obviously land still belongs to members of the town council. So my view is that if, you know, if members of Newstead, residents in Newstead want to park the cars there, then like anybody else, I don't think there's a problem with providing the old outstanding or flags. If we put tarmac down, we have to go through a planning process, don't we, Alan? And you're looking to tarmac that strip for about £80,000. So rubber matting, what costs for rubber matting, Alan?
About 17,000.
17,000.
On Newstead Terrace,
Yeah.
whereabouts on Newstead Terrace?
Newstead View, sorry, Newstead View.
I was gonna say, it's talking about it should be talking about Newstead View.
Yeah, Newstead View, I apologise, yeah.
I was just gonna say, because Newstead Terrace.
So,
Yeah.
so you're looking at 17,000 for rubber matting that can be stolen, so, I mean, my view is it's a non-entity like, so.
If you did, secure, I think you also have to consider if other people would park overnight there, if not,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
But yes, if my view is if a member of the public wants to do something themselves, and
So, is any councillor in favour of spending 17,000 for rubber matting? So obviously, do all councillors feel it's a non-entity for now, but we'll allow residents if they want to put flags down for the own outstanding on council land, yeah? We're all in favour for that then, yeah?
I believe I have stayed on this one. Sorry, one last street. Alan, that would be the beginning.
Sorry?
I think I've got an interest in this one, so I don't think I can vote.
Oh, you can't vote or speak.
So.
I did speak, that's why we're not talking.
Yeah, so you've declared an interest, yeah?
Sorry, I thought it counted me at the beginning. I thought you got me on that list.
You've got an interest in that, yes. You do. You don't live on it.
Item number 17, Lakeside Cafe heating system and lift, to consider the respective procurements, installation of a new heating system and a lift in the cafe bar.
I'd like to put a memorandum forward, motion forward, that we're going to install a lift down at one part. Losing a lot of trade, getting people on the trade dying, right? And we can't use this water park. The water park, believe it or not, is our diamond, without doubt. We've got to put a lift in for funerals, weddings and everything. And we need it urgently.
I think what it is now, we're penalising disabled.
That's right.
Because some of the people that come in, some of them will have a function downstairs because they're not prepared to see the grandparents downstairs while they're upstairs, so they've compromised. I think she's just had a wedding down there, and they had it downstairs because of wheelchairs. We've been saying it for a long time now. It's equal opportunities, and as a council, and I said this last time, we should be practicing. Good practice is to get a blooming lift for wheelchairs.
I've brought this up time and time again.
We need
under the Equality Act, to be fair, we should allow access for disabled people.
Of course we should.
We penalise them for having a wheelchair.
I think Sean mentioned it not long since, that, you know, if funds were available when we discussed completing sale of that land, you were in favour of that, so.
So if you remember back to before that, when you brought this up first, and nobody disagreed, don't need a lift, what we said, what? can we have a plan? Can we have costing? Where's the lift gonna go? Make it a proper business plan, then bring that back to the council. Have you done that? How much we're gonna make and how much we're
Well-
lose? Have we looked at a stair lift rather than a lift lift?
We've had
Have
some,
have we got anything written down?
yeah,
Present us with that,
we've had some
so
prices.
we can make decisions on
It's not just prices.
on proper,
Yeah.
so where's it gonna go? Is there a plan? Where's the plan? How much of the, or if any of the play area are we going to lose? What's it gonna cost? How much have we lost due, you know, what have we lost, because people have said, I'm sorry, I'm not taking that facility. So you can cost it and say, well, it's gonna cost us X, but over 3 years, we'll make more than that back, so you've got a proper business plan.
Yeah.
That, we're not saying no,
I'm
we're saying
sorry,
actually
Sean,
got
I
that.
must have been amazed because I didn't hear all that what you just said
Yes,
last
well,
meeting. I just thought it got refused. Am I right,
Yeah.
Alan?
No,
It
It
got
got
refused based on-
refused.
on a business
It
plan.
was refused.
It's not- it weren't based
And it's
on a
Alan's
business
just,
plan.
but Alan's just confirmed it. It was refused. If that had been the point, if that would have been the what you said, I'm sure we'd have had something, or Alan would have had something here to put forward. So we can have all this year to look forward to people who can get upstairs. Because don't forget, a lot of residents use Water Park who would like to have the occasions down there. You've seen how beautiful it is on Facebook. It's well promoted. Inside the cafe bar is promoted. So if you'd have said that, Sean, someone would have been here ready, I'm sure, because it's urgent. So,
If it was, if. members
Chair,
approve
can we
it,
get
if
this
it-
speeded
If
up?
it was approved in principle, details could then be brought back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so,
Because the only thing is, so the last time,
this is what I'm saying about consultations and.
So, it's not consultation, it's asking for a
No, I know
proper
it,
business plan.
but
so
we are
the
going
last time
to put
this
this to
council voted on
consultation.
this without a proper plan, we ended up with £8,000 vendor
yeah,
buy.
but Sean,
No,
John, to be fair, there's a lot of people phoning up
That's
that's
right.
disabled and they
With
won't
evidence.
book that room
Where's the evidence?
upstairs
With it.
because the evidence is from manager that's taking bookings.
I asked in a couple of meetings ago.
Yes.
I asked in a couple of meetings ago.
So in principle, let's cut to chase, in principle, you're looking at between 16 and 18,000 on prices.
So that's jumped up £6,000 since last time.
Well, cancel Venga Boys then and put a
Last
proper
time,
lift
then
in
you
and a
got
proper
rolled,
thing
it was
in down there
£12,000.
then at Water Park.
I can go get notes that I wrote at the time, it says £12,000.
Well,
Yeah.
we've already had some.
Stop wasting
we've already
money
had
on
some
something
prices.
else.
So, in principle, Gordon, just let me finish with this, in principle, so we will progress then, are we all in favour, you're looking at between 16 and 18 on these lists that we've got. You can get one wheelchair and 2 people in,
Chair,
they've got to be Alfreds.
can I just say, let's just not say the lift, because we know,
Well, we-
like Sean's just
but
said,
even
we
it's
know
lift.
that what we're gonna alter to put this list, it's not gonna be that costly. We need to get a costing for the lift, all the caboodle, so it's all gonna be done and we've got one price and then we can say, well, yeah.
It's gonna
well,
cost us X.
But if it's over 25, it's got to go to consultation.
Right, so,
And I was splitting out the eating as well, because that needs splitting out, doesn't it? It needs two different items here.
Yeah.
What about this children's play area? What's going to happen to that?
It's gonna go.
Nothing, I hope.
it'll still be there, there's 2 places you can
I
put
mean,
there.
it's getting boarded up at the moment, like, it's.
What, I think they've boarded that up because of people that coming in on a Sunday and Wednesday dinners, you know, noise from kids, which is cut sound down.
It has
a bit.
eased the noise a little bit, I mean, it has eased the noise, it hasn't stopped it, but it has eased it and it looks all right, but.
It's
Yeah.
all right, but you can't see your kids.
That's where you're.
I thought you can sit,
Well,
Yeah.
there's only room for 8 people, 8 adults around that side of the like, and it's blocking view up for kids. It's for
you
parents
see,
to
you're trying
the
to
children,
suit,
like.
you're trying to suit one and so
So
customers that are coming in, and you know what it's like, you know what it's like.
I mean,
and-
So,
are you thinking of putting it there and taking part of play area?
there's,
I want
there's
to
2,
ask.
there's 3
Well, this is
places.
this is the whole point of this decision making
Yeah.
we're talking about. We're being asked to make a decision.
No, we're not being
But we
asked to
have-
make a decision, what we
You're
said.
saying in principle,
No,
that's
what-
a decision in
no,
principle.
no,
Can I?
No, just 1 minute though, what we're asking here is
I
that
doubt it.
we
will.
get somebody in that can give us a plan and design and a price, and then we progress it. That's what
That's
we're looking at.
But we also, but there's other things that John was asking for, so we want to understand how it impacts like the future business. I mean, is it £71,000 a year that we lose having the water park, the Lakeside Cafe? So is that gonna reduce that deficit that we've got? We want to know things like that, we want to know how it's gonna benefit, because at the moment, I don't think we are discriminating against people because we've got something we can offer them downstairs. So if we're saying, you know, we've got to be really careful with the language that we're using. If we're putting a lift in to bring in more money, how much more money is that going to be?
But downstairs has always been known as a public area. So if you've got somebody that wants, that's got disabled people for a private function, they're not going to get a private function downstairs when it's open to members of public. Upstairs, you can have your private functions.
Tell us how much more money it's going to bring in
And
then.
what we do, we'll ask for a survey on what parties, Alan, you can do that,
Well,
where we
Alan,
refuse people to have a function that has probably brought £1,000 a time.
Chair, can I just ask Alan if there's been any emails or has anything been mentioned from management to you regarding the functions? Can you just clarify?
Yes, that is, yes.
Did you read them, Alan?
We're not disputing, I'm just saying,
So,
No, but you're just saying, where's the evidence?
so look, it's easy done. Alan's got evidence regarding people that have complained. That we have got a list. I've had a few
councils allowed to
people
see this
complaining
evidence.
against that.
Can we see it?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, to bring it back to
It
you.
can
So
report back.
we can move one step forward and bring that back, and then we can get some costings, get a lift engineer out to see where the best place is to site it. Yeah, yes, Nancy.
On the Facebook thing, people have been asking for those lifts. I think it was a last called Jackie had asked, and a few people said they've been forwarded, saying that there's no, and that is on
Yeah.
Facebook, saying that there's no.
That's the same person that asked me for a mum's birthday.
I'm not
We
disputing
have to go
that.
somewhere else.
So, I've looked at stairless as well, we put that option in. Another option, look at stairs.
Yeah, I'm saying we can get a price for that.
Take up the stairs rather than the lift going up. you know,
That's, so that's where we are.
Potentially look at closing off to the public on a certain day. If someone wants to book out downstairs, like you can do in other areas, we could maybe close it up, because you're not going to get a great deal of people in the water park on a Thursday afternoon, for example, are you? So if you could close off to the general public, does that offset what you're going to spend on a lift?
Yeah, but then, sorry, Anna, but we have to, you know, obviously, you're new to council, and I think you'll find that, well, we'll upset somebody down the line and it will be on Facebook and, you know, they can't get a drink, a cup of tea or coffee. My mum and dad wanted a cup of tea, wanted to fetch kids into play area. That's what you're up against. That's why you have a room, a function room, away from public, because that's still got to, it's the parishioners that are paying for it, they want access to it. And that's what it is.
The lift is needed urgently.
If we
People are
can,
going away.
if we can put a project together and a business plan, then Alan,
Yeah,
some costing spot lift. Let an engineer come out to see where the best place to site it. And then bring it back and get it done as soon as possible.
And then I was the second to that is a heating system, which we've only got one boiler, I think that's a bit dodgy as well. Well, I've been going to council meetings for 3.5 to 3 years, you talk about this one heater. that's
You'd
not
be able to get some.
Yeah, once again, we don't have funds.
So we need to look at, I mean-
Budget for that year were allocated. We have got funds now, you can see, I think everybody can see what money's in bank.
I think the system's slightly different with the heating system's a necessity.
Yeah.
So
Once again,
it's a necessity, it's a legal necessity.
Well, we better start asking public now then, Sean, because it's going to be more than 25,000 for
Yeah.
meeting.
No, it's an
Comes under
emergency.
emergency maintenance.
We already agreed that, it's an emergency, we need it doing.
so can we get some quotes for that, Alan?
Also heating as well.
It's-
Yeah,
The system itself's okay, the radiators and everything,
Thermostat.
it's just the boiler, the thermostat that needs doing. So I
I'm
don't
guessing they're
think
not
it's,
the average combi boilers.
I mean,
guessing they're big.
for commercial,
It's
you,
not.
you'll probably be able to get something like that for about £8,000.
No, not a chance. I think.
Oh, yeah.
This is commercial.
Jimmy,
Well, how much did that cost?
Because it's all double, it costs you the business.
let's just get a cost
Yeah.
from Jim and fetch it.
We've got to have it. that's
So
it.
are we all agreed with that then?
Yeah.
To get costings and a survey done and then bring it back, yeah? So we've got a
Yeah,
price,
it's
yeah.
about time.
Item number 18, budgets and precept 2020-23. To receive the recommendations of the Finance Committee and to determine the budget in accordance with the precept of the year commencing 1st of April 2022 and to authorise the town clerk to issue a formal request to Wakefield Council. So what this is that members decided at finance meeting to keep the precept the same.
Recommended a finance.
Yeah, recommended, yeah, and to keep it same. Have you got that? One on that list?
I can read it out if you want.
Yes, you will. If I can just pass it on to Jean, Jean's chair of finance.
Yeah, so Barclays accounts, 500, members have got it here in front of them as well. 531,954. That includes monies from Kirby Road. CCLA deposit fund, which is 230, that's never changed. Also, the 87,000 CCLA has never changed. That's a total of 848,054 that we, to date, what we have in.
You're doing well.
So what you've just been told there, I think you've got a leaflet
Well, then,
to represent that. We've got-
Chair, sorry, can I just mention as well? I'm not making an excuse about COVID because it did actually happen, and the first year we were trading, we made a surplus. Am I right, Alan? We made a surplus in the first year when we put the bar and everything in. And if that would have continued, then don't forget we went back into lockdown then for 18 months. Or we were on restrictions, so we were limited to what we could do. Just imagine if we'd have kept that up and COVID on about, then we wouldn't be putting money into it, because I think we'll always put money into it because we've got the upkeep of all the buildings and everything. We'll always, but that's what your precepts
yeah,
for.
you're right.
That's what your precepts for. So that's how I look at it. It's unfortunate that it's happened, but we could have been a lot more surplus than what we are now. So in considering, I think we've done, I mean, all right, we've had some Saul's money, a little bit from him, but I don't think to say we've kept the precept down as well. And we intend to obviously keep that going, hopefully. I don't think we've done bad.
What surplus we made that first year?
Sorry?
No, what surplus? A rough figure, what surplus was that year now?
Well, I can give you figures what we did in the bank holiday weekend.
For completeness, the first year the revenue did go up from the lakeside, but there was significant capital spend as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd also like to mention, over the years, when we've had bonfires previously, it's cost council between £6,000 and £7,000 for bonfires. Well received, always has been for the last 20 years. We usually take between £500 and £700 on that bonfire night because cafe closed early. In 2019, we took in excess of £3,500 because we kept cafe open, and we did his own stalls. In fact, Jean worked hard selling hot dogs and burgers for us. And in 2020, obviously because of pandemic, we didn't have a bonfire, but it was agreed last year that we will do everything in-house at this bonfire that we had last year, 2021. And I don't know if you've noticed it on accounts, but it was a great success. From 5 o'clock till 9 o'clock, we took £9,300 on 5th of November. So, there's been a big improvement on that. I'd also like to say that while pandemic were on, we kept Windy's Cafe open outside so that people could have a drink. And that took just in excess of 110,000 over that 10 months, which obviously were well received and well done by members of staff. So I'd like to thank management and staff at Lakeside Cafe and Park, what they've done. I'd like to thank Alan through pandemic, what he's done sticking by. He's never had a day off or missed a beat. I'd also like to thank councillors for attending meetings that they've done and for attending Zoom meetings that were difficult at time. So, while we're on that point, thank you for that. Yeah, as is stated, we've got £848,054 in bank at minute, which puts us in a good financial position. And with a precept that we're due to get on 1st of April, we'll have in excess of 1.5 million. That's about right, isn't it, Alan? Yeah.
That's assuming the precept's approved, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, well, it's, we have a vote on that, but this will be the 3rd year that we've kept it same, it's not gone up. So can we have a vote, members, that we keep precept same again?
Same banding, Mr.
Same banding, yeah. There's no increase on precept.
Bandy, yeah.
Have we any questions from members on finances? You all okay?
Yeah, question from me. Should, for whatever reason, the vendor voice concert either be cancelled or not go ahead or doesn't make money, where will the money that we've lost come from? Will that need to come from that reserve pot as well?
When Venture Prize were brought up, we did put a reserve pot to one side, didn't we, Alan, which is all included in that, you know, that we're carrying forward.
There's a 10,000 in the revenue budget for it. And then if the ticket sales don't match the spend, then that would have to come from somewhere. Either, well, there are two ways, reserves or cuts from other budgets.
So I'll move on
Is
then
this
to,
all- is just reserves, or is that got this references as presets in it?
no,
No, that's what got as of today.
So it's got its preset, what?
Oh,
budget in
first of
there?
April will be a further.
Yeah, but this has got to keep us going till 1st of April.
Yeah, which is.
That's just what I want to
Let's just
clarify.
cancel Venga Boys, that we're not worried about that damn money, because it's just.
and there's been a
I
cabinet
didn't,
decision made on it,
I did not
and
vote
until it
for
comes
it.
up,
Did.
number 19. Sandygate football facility staffing to consider an external recruitment of a permanent member of staff to enable the facilities to be fully staffed. Alan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Currently undergoing an internal recruitment for it, which the council approved a few weeks ago. This is just a bit of a melt and braces approach, just in case that recruitment isn't successful. I'd like permission from the council to an external recruitment. It may not be necessary, but if it isn't successful, I don't want to wait till the next meeting to get approval again.
Yes,
Chair, can I just mention about that as well? When we, if we do recruit somebody, whoever it is, can we just recruit them for the hours that we need them? Because the problem we had before is they were there, say 8 hours, when there were only 4 hours being used. So they were there for 4 hours, getting paid for 4 hours and there was nothing to do because there were no matches on. Can we just pay them, can we just do the hours that, you know, that we need them up there and not just to sit around and, you know, watch a gate all day?
So if you can check up on that, Alan, yeah.
It's all in favour, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, what Alan, what Jean was saying were, they usually arrive at 10 o'clock to do checks on ground for safety, pictures and astroturf. And then we're not getting anybody in while 3 o'clock after school time, so if that can be reduced, that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's what, yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I meant.
And they're looking
Just
for hours
basically
to
doing
do
4
what they're
hours
doing.
in an 8-hour shift.
And then if you know, if you can try and work it within the staff that we've got, Alan, because we have got plenty of members of staff when they all turn up.
Is that approved, then, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We're all in favour of that. Number 20, subject access request. The town clerk to report on anonymised subject access request and to authorise the response accordingly. I think that's something that we're duty bound to do.
You've got to do, Mr. Chairman.
Are we all in favour of that?
Yeah.
Number 21, freedom of information request. The town clerk to report on anonymised freedom of information request to receive and to authorise the respective response accordingly.
Two more this week, Mr. Chairman. And one about the recruitment for the head of security role, and the other one about legal costs at the Kirby Road site.
Yeah, no problems with that, Alan. Number 22, councillors' surgeries to consider matters pertaining to councillors' surgeries. Well, I've asked this to be put on agenda to clarify a point that I think you mentioned, Maxine, that you've got a surgery to be held at Kingsley Coronation Club. But it don't include, it's not been approved, or it don't include all councillors, so it's an informal meeting. It's not a formal
Excuse
meeting.
me, but I've already been through it all with John Trickett and everybody. I am allowed to do it.
Yeah, I'm not-
This is not just me doing it. There's a few of the councils going to do it. So you can't say that I shouldn't. I'm a Labour, you're independent. I'm through Labour, I can do surgeries.
Anyone can do a
I'm
surgery.
not saying you can. All I'm saying is, can you just clarify that it's not run and all us councils are going to turn up? some people might think that, you know, it's going to be a meeting like this.
I have clarified it on the post. I've told them that I will put in a list of councillors who will be there on the post.
Yeah, it's fair enough then.
So if you read it, if
Yeah,
you
but I'm
read it,
saying
you
that-
should have read that.
All I read was, it looked as though it were an official council meeting that you're doing. That questions
No.
that I got asked.
It wasn't, it's not, whoever it is.
Item number 23, Kirby Road Complex to confirm the legal matters pertaining to the former sports complex at Kirby Road have now been concluded. Do you want to?
Yeah, just to pretty much state the obvious, Mr. Chairman, the agreement reached and decided by the council in December was executed just before Christmas, so it's now concluded, Mr. Chairman.
So basically, we have no more liabilities now on Kirby Road Complex, which I'd just like to mention to people that over the years, this council paid in excess of £30,000 to residents adjacent to that site for knotweed and other damage to trees and stuff, when it should have been transferred and deal completed in 2012. So end of the day, now we've no more liabilities to that, and hopefully the developer will start to tidy it up, because there's tons and tons of rubbish and waste being tipped on that side, and it does need tidying. Like I said before, I'll just mention figures. The previous council agreed to waive any further interest or payments to this council in 2015. At mediation and negotiations, where I thank Maxine for attending and giving a time up, we negotiated a payment of 182,000 from the developer, which more than covered his costs and gave us funds to uplift and other things that we've got in the bank now. And they also agreed that we could keep £50,000 section 106 money. So all in all, it was a good thing, well done, and deals being completed. That's taken 7 years and 5 months. Item number 24, Hemsworth Cemetery, to consider asking Wakefield Council for permission to conduct litter picking and minor ground maintenance in the cemetery. That's something that I put on. I've got a small group that's about eight people that's going to attend. And if any other members would like to attend, just to help to tidy the cemetery up, and if anybody wants an hand to tidy the graves up, or you know, alter the headstones if it's leaning or whatever, then our lads will be up with tools and we can assist on that.
No, we don't, so.
No, it's can't.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
Well, maintenance at the
Minor
other
ground
side, yeah. I know we did a good job at Memorial Garden last time we went up. We cleared loads of litter and we cut a load of trees, pruned a load of trees for them. So, you know, before nesting season comes in. Like I said, we've got some volunteers.
Before what comes in?
Before nesting season comes in. There are some trees to cut back and as you go in, quite a lot.
No, I go up there sometimes.
So if
Every
any
week.
councillors want to get involved on that, we can arrange a week or Sunday, Alan, yeah?
You better hurry up,
No.
it's nearly nesting season.
It's got to be approved tonight. I've got to wait for permission, so assuming that permission comes through in
They
time.
don't like it nesting up
Well,
there.
if it's
no.
set 3 weeks then, yeah.
They like the
Okay, yeah.
nesting.
Can we make it before March, because then you're breaking law.
So is everybody in favour of that? Is that okay, yeah? That we can do?
They break it law by cutting trees down. Yeah,
March,
you
from
are.
March onwards.
You are breaking law by cutting trees down.
Yeah, but that's why I think we make it before March.
Well, if somebody reports you for cutting them down and stopping nesting, you'll be in big trouble. You're talking thousands.
All that's been done before, they've just been thrown down, they've been cut back and there were no nested trees. I mean, if a developer's doing a building site in June, he's got,
And they're not allowed to do it, they put
if
nets
he's
on
got
them to keep
permission,
it clear.
there's no
Yeah.
nesting
But
trees, then
winter,
it
They've got to put the
continues.
nets over, yeah, like Maxine said. It's this season's is all different to what they usually are, aren't they?
Just as long as it's before
Item
March.
number 25, the Hampton Water Park Nature Walk, to consider offering nature walks around the park with a lunch at the cafe to local primary schools. We've got a budget, for grants. I don't think it's going to bust bank this. I just feel it's a good thing for Emsworth, Kingsley and Fitzwilliam for primary schools and infant schools, if they can bring them down to do a nature walk, providing with a lunch in summer.
Yeah, as long as you leave some birds' nests alone.
So
It's all fine.
Yes, yeah, in terms of kids living
Yeah.
facility, but then, you know, if there's 20, 30 come and they have a couple of hours doing drawings and writing things down and looking at ducks, birds and different things.
I think it's a good
And
idea.
wildlife.
It's a brilliant
And then
idea.
We can sit them outside on a nice day and provide them, you know, with a sandwich and a hot drink or
Just a packed
whatever.
lunch,
Yeah, packed lunch.
It's a good, it's an
We've got-
absolute brilliant
we've got
idea.
16,000 in grants, haven't we, on allocated? Yeah, I think we've got 16,000 in grants for this year, so we can use it out of that, so are we all in favour of that? Then? Yeah.
No, it's brilliant. It's best thing that you've come up with tonight.
Thank you, Anne. Item number 27, storage unit at the water park security. Oh, sorry, exclusion of press and public. I don't know.
Oh, dear.
Apologise. Yeah, exclusion of press and public, members of the public and the press. Yes, Jeff, sorry.
Going back to item 17, the lift,
Yeah,
would it be possible to put it on the outside if we can't get it inside, depending on cost and everything?
yeah, that's, I think 2.5 years ago, Jeff, we did have a firm come out and they looked at spots inside and they looked at the outside. And obviously, we didn't have funds available with that pandemic, so we just left it off. But if we get an elected engineer in to look at it, and he'll decide which is best costing, then bring it back to us.
Yeah, like Jean says, it's a good idea, is that, and then it doesn't affect any children's play area inside, does it?
Once again, then, item number 26,
Yeah,
inclusion of
thank
press
you,
and
love.
public. Members of the
Something
public
right.
and the press to be excluded for the consideration of the business of a confidential nature as per the Public Bodies Admissions Act 1960. Thank you for attending tonight, ladies and gentlemen, members of the public, and we hope to see you many of you.